Speak to your people. Give us a heart of flesh. Cause most of us got a heart of stone. You shut the kingdom of the others like you Guinea. You done riding me 4 and 6, I pray that's sin in you. All this darkness in the world, you feel me. We supposed to be the light when we witnessing. Are you a disciple of the light? Only time will tell. By your fruits, you done made that boy a child of hell. Why we put him in slavery before we preach the gospel? We supposed to tear down their customs, not the people. Y'all humble ourselves. Seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Humble ourselves, seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Humble ourselves, seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Humble ourselves, seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Christ, they teach the law, so when your mind is where you supposed to be. Do what they say, not as they do, they emojis see. I'll open up my eyes, took a hold of me. They mad that he deserving y'all, how it supposed to be. How you mad that he deserving your God? But please break the yokes off. Help us understand that we were told to lead. I pray this word get in their heart if they don't smoke the seed. Leviticus 19:34, don't twist it. Matthew 8 verse 11, don't miss it. Many fishes in the sea, throw your fish net. Let everything that have breath, don't switch that. Supposed to be walking like Messiah, not just quote scriptures. A wise man to win souls, pray they go with you. I used to be a Pharisee, had a hate up in my heart when I could barely see. Humble ourselves, seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Humble ourselves, seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Humble ourselves, seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Humble ourselves, seek your face on my knees, I'll show us the way. Christ. Humble yourself. Push us the way. The truth and the light. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 2. The word of Isaiah the son of Amos soul concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it came to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Most High's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up into the mountain of the Most High, to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the Torah, and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem. Eyes to the east.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Shalom, shalom, or Shabbat shalom. Everybody, Shabbat shalom. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? This is the day that Yahuwah have made, so let us be glad and rejoice in it. How's everybody doing this morning? I hope the Most High have truly blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope the Most High really truly have blessed you over and abundantly with wisdom and knowledge and understanding. I hope the Most High really truly have blessed you over and abundantly with kindness and peace. I really truly hope he has. I hope the Most High truly bless your offsprings over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope he have. Hope he has really given you the insight. I hope he has given you compassion and understanding of his word. I was in prayer Thursday night or Friday morning, No, it was Wednesday morning. And Yahuwah was saying, most people don't believe my word. He said, most people do not believe my word. That's why you have this stagnant motion of people trying to get their lives together. That's why you still see most people seem like they in a state of illusion, because they really don't believe Yahuwah's word. He said, I can show you all the signs, and I'm adding to this, but he said, he can show us all the signs and wonders on the earth, and people will still say, nah, I don't think that's it. Nah, I don't think that's it. I've asked several people this week. I have asked several people this week. What you think the eclipse is about? Oh man, that ain't nothing. Oh man, that ain't nothing. Oh man, that ain't nothing. I asked several people about the eclipse. Oh, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. But they say they believe in Yahuwah. They believe in the word. He can show you all the signs and the wonders, but still people going to have this delusion about life. People still plotting and planning to go this place and go that place. And I don't have no problems with any of that. But their main focus is not on Yahuwah. They can see that it's troubling times, they still don't. They say, well, it's just it. You know. And I be like, man, I can't believe the mindset of a lot of people. He has showed many people signs and wonders, but they still don't believe. But as for my week, it's been okay. He always comes through when I need him. The Ruach HaKodesh comes through when I need it. And I yield unto him. Unto the Ruach HaKodesh, I yield unto the Spirit. Just say, hey, you know what I need. I need you to provide for me. And I go on about my business. And he provides for me. Or the Spirit provides for me. Also because I'm trying to do the right thing as well. So let us go ahead and get started this morning on Exodus chapter 20. Verses 1 through 17. And it reads, And El spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy Adonai, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Els before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, Yahuwah thy Adonai, am a jealous Adonai, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Adonai in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But in the Sabbath day, the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy Adonai, in it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy sons nor daughters, thy manservants nor thy maidservants nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore, if Yahuwah bless the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy fathers and thy mothers, that their days be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy El, thy Adonai giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor. So let me pray this morning. Then I'm gonna pray that prayer this morning because I like it. And it reads, "O creators of the heavens and earth," but it really says the cosmics. But I don't know if you're on that level to understand the cosmics. I'm going to read it from the heavens and earth. O creators of the heavens and earth and our radiance and vibrations, soften the grounds of our being and carve out a space with us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear fruits of our missions. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desires within your purpose for our life. Bestow us with the wisdom of produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled thread of destiny that binds us as we release others from the entanglement of the past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced or tricked by that which distracts us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of present moments, for you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the creator, power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. So let it be. I know that sounds different, but I do hear a lot of the Lord Yahuwah's prayer in it. But I like that prayer, and I want us to be able to start evolving to different things this morning. If you could turn to Exodus, Exodus chapter 1. Exodus chapter 1 verses 7 through 10. Exodus chapter 1 verses 7 through 10. And the key verse is going to be verse 10. The key verse is verse 10. It reads, "Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when they're falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of our land, and so get them up out of the land, and so get them up out of the land." If I may give a title of the text this morning, the title of the text this morning is "The Thing That I Fear the Most Is Happening." The thing that I fear the most, the thing I fear the most is happening. The word fear is a 14th century word. It's a painful emotion or passion excited by expectations of evil or the comprehension of an impending danger. Calamity, sudden danger, perils, sudden attacks, the state of being afraid, uneasy caused by possible danger. Let me read it over. In a painful emotional passion excited by an expectations of evil or an apprehension of impending danger, calamity, sudden dangers, perils, sudden attacks, state of fears, state of being afraid, uneasy caused by danger. Plat, P-L-A-T, is a mid-16th century word. A plat is a like platform. Plat, P-L-A-T, is also what is a modern term for plan. It is a secret, a plan, full formulated scheme. A full formulated scheme. A plat is a secret, a plan, fully formulated scheme. Okay, and let me give you a verse today that I want you to keep in the back of your mind. Psalms 57 and 6. They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Shelah. They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Shelah. That is Psalms 57 and 6. Okay. In the book of Exodus means exit. It is also talking about the children of Israel, how they got into Egypt, what was the lineage that was in Egypt, how long they was in Egypt, and what happened during the process of being in Egypt. Because we got to realize that Joseph was in Egypt when Joseph died. He left his lineage there in Egypt. And it was a new Pharaoh that was in charge of Egypt at the time of the book of Exodus. And the Pharaoh that was on the scene at the time, at the beginning of the book of Exodus, did not know Joseph, did not know the understanding of who the children of Israel were. They might have had some glimpse of their potential and their powers, but they did not know the true understanding of who the children of Israel was. Okay, but they knew the history of the children of Israel. They knew some ideas. Some of the counselors and the advisors knew, but the Pharaoh did not know who the children of Israel was. And because of fear, it caused the Pharaoh to do things and to seek counsel on how to deal with the children of Israel. He had to seek counsel on how to deal with the children of Israel, because he knew that they knew that the children of Israel was an anointed group of people. He knew that they was an anointed group of people. They knew that the counselors knew that Yahuwah has saved them. Yahuwah has done a lot of stuff for them in the past. But the Pharaoh did not know. So Pharaoh was listening to his counselors and his people because of fear. Fear is an expectation of evil. So when we're looking at Exodus chapter 7 chapter 1, it's all about It's all about why somebody do things. And the Most High this week in my prayer, the Most High said, people are not evil. People do things because of, I said people, what did he say? What did I say he said last night?
Anger.
Right.
Not evil, it's the anger.
He said people are not evil, they are angry. They're angry because of what they think they don't have. And they want what somebody else's have, negating what they have, not being satisfied with what they have or who they are, what they have or who they are. So they're not happy within themselves. So they perpetuate what's on the inside of them onto somebody else. So people are actually not evil. It's just that they are angry within themselves because of fear or because of whatever it may be to push them to the next level. Because if you look at the KKK, right? The KKK, they don't want race mixing because the fear of losing their race. So because their fear of losing their race, they perpetuate their anger, which we would see as evil, on the people who they quote unquote have a problem with. Even though it's not them that has the problem, it's the members of the KKK that has the problem. They're angry within themselves that they don't have the abilities, they don't have the know-how, they don't have the genetic traits to stay in existence in the way that they want them to. So they perpetuate evilness on the people who they feel who's the biggest threat. So when you're looking at the story of Exodus, the Egyptians was perpetuating a fear on the children of Israel because of an expectation that may or may not even happen in Egypt. Because the children of Israel was living in Egypt for a long period of time, and it never talked about the Egyptians and the Hebrews ever getting into an altercation. It might have got into an altercation because the Egyptians did not help the children of Israel fight. But the children of Israel never hated the Egyptians. They tried to live alongside of the Egyptians. No, and I hope y'all are listening to this. Because we can parallel that today of African Americans or Hebrews living in America today. We have never perpetuated a hatred towards another group of people. We always try to coexist with everyone that is around us. We have always tried to be acceptance of other people's nationalities, acceptance of their traditions and customs. We have always tried to be that way with the people that we live amongst. We may have internal issues within ourselves, but Black Americans or Hebrew Israelite does not go out and perpetuate hatred onto another group of people just because of whatever it is. And that's the way it was going on. But other dominant societies have always perpetuated or pushed their fears on us because of whatever they're thinking the situation might be. Like Europeans, they have pushed their fears on us because they're thinking that we're going to retaliate on them because of how they treated us. Even you see the Indians, the Chinese, all of these other nations of people have pushed their fears or their angers on us because of what they thinking we are, and they're pushing their expectations of evil. They're pushing their behaviors on us because they're expecting for us to be a certain way. But in actuality, we're not that way. But because of their fears, they're assuming that we are that way. So it caused them to move and do things that they shouldn't do. So now when you look at the world today, right, you have all these migrants, people of color, coming into the United States of America. Because they always tried to keep the United States European dominant. Even though I do believe that statistics is wrong. But now you have this influx of migrants coming in, starting to establish gangs, starting to cause commotions up there in New York, starting to bring sicknesses and plagues into the United States. The thing that they feared the most is now starting to happen because of what they did to the children of Israel. When they thought they was doing something to hurt, harm, and damage the children of Israel, it's not going to necessarily hurt, harm, and damage the children of Israel. It's going to hurt, harm, and damage the people that caused the problem in the first place. Let me go back to Psalms, 57 and 6. And I also want to say something to you too. It says, they have prepared a net for my feet, my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me, into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. What they thought they was doing to hurt, harm, and damage us as a nation of people will eventually backfire on them. Because, let me go ahead and get started, but I want to say this, because I got a little to read today. Let me say this to you all too. If some of you all took what I said as me calling you stupid last week, I didn't mean to call you stupid if you took it from that viewpoint of using the word stupid as crazy. I looked at it as me saying that you don't understand what's truly going on. And if you took it out of context, I do apologize to you. I didn't mean no harm by that. That's why I put on my Facebook page the preacher that went around telling everybody they're going to hell, they're going to hell, they're going to hell, they're going to hell. And he even told his wife and kids they're going to hell. But it was just him. Sometimes preachers see the reality of the world, but the congregation or the people don't. And it's just to build a frustration up from teachers who don't get the right response from the students. Like I asked people to come to Passover. I ain't get nobody to mention anything about Passover. Nobody inboxed me, nobody called me, nobody did anything. Said, hey, I'm going to be a part of Passover this year. Understanding the significance of Passover. So, sometimes as teachers or whoever can get frustrated because they're not getting the proper response or a positive response from the people that they're supposed to be teaching and whoever I'm teaching on this line. So yeah, it's frustrating sometimes. And just like the seers or the prophets that was in the Bible, I'm sure they was frustrated because the people did not really take heed. Just like I said, taught on last week. Prepare yourself for the coming of Yahuwah. We had an earthquake up in New York. A 4.8 means that they may have an earthquake on Monday in New York City.
You need to read 64 again.
That was just a notification of we may give you another earthquake on the day of the eclipse. Because it was a 4.8. What's Monday? 4.8. What happened in New York on 4.5? The eclipse happened on 4.5. What was it? A 4.8. What is the eclipse date on? 4.8. Where it happened at? In New York City. Does the eclipse go through New York City? Yes. It go through the city of Nineveh in New York City. In New York. So let us go ahead and get started. Because I'll be reading out the book of Jasher today. Jasher chapter 60. Jasher chapter 60. 68, I think. Yeah, no, Jasher chapter 66, starting at verse. Jasher chapter 66, starting at verse. I think verse, I'd say 4. But it reads, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. And the children of Israel was fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Understand that there was a lot of a lot of people in the land of Egypt. The children of Israel had roughly around 500,000 to 600,000 people in the land of Egypt when they departed out of Egypt. So roughly around this time here, we could probably say they had probably close to 400,000 or 500,000 people in the land of Egypt at the time of this verse. They had roughly, because they've been in Egypt about 125 years at the time. So they had over close to 500,000 to 600,000 people that was in there, living in the land of Egypt. And the Egyptians was very intimidated by the multitude of the children of Israel in the land of Egypt. Because I want us to go to Nehemiah chapter 9. Because I want us to understand what the Most High had told the children of Israel in Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 23. It says, in Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 23, it says, their children also multiplied thou as the stars of heaven, and broughtest them into the land, concerning which thou had promised to their fathers. that they should go in. Really, I want to go to don't read that one yet. Go to Jeremiah, because Jeremiah is the one I really want us to read. Jeremiah chapter 29. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 4 through 7. Because we got to understand something. The Most High gave us specific instructions on when we go into captivity, how we should be. How we should be in the land of captivity. And this is how they were in the land of their captivity, or in the land of Egypt at the time. Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 20, Jeremiah chapter 9 verse 4 through 7. It reads and it says, Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, Adonai of Israel, unto all that are carried away captive, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Listen to this. He gave us specific instructions during a time of captivity. He gave us specific instructions when we're not in a land that is not ours. He said, build ye houses, dwell in them, plant gardens, and eat the fruits of them. Then it says, take ye wives, and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there, and not diminished. Where? In verse 4. Carried away into Jerusalem, or in a place that is not yours. He's telling us to be fruitful and multiply in a land that is not ours, so that you won't diminish from being alive. Then it says, and seek the peace of the city, whether I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray unto Yahuwah for it, for the peace thereof shall ye have. And, hold on. For in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. So the Most High was telling us, when we're in lands that is not ours, be fruitful and multiply. You plant you some gardens, grow you some fruits and vegetables, build you a house. He telling you to give your sons to get a daughter for your son, and give your daughters to be given out to be a wife, so that our heritage continue to grow even in the midst of captivity. That's what he told us. This is what he means by be fruitful and multiply. Even when we go to Genesis, right, chapter 1 verse 28, it says, and Adonai blessed them, and Adonai said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowls of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. So the Most High have already mandated to us that we should be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth. He have told us these things. No matter if we are in a land of captivity, no matter if we're in a land of captivity, no matter if we are in whatever conditions, we need to be fruitful and multiply. We need to try to be as happy as we possibly can be in the land. He also said in Nehemiah, now let us go back to Nehemiah. Nehemiah 9:23. He said, their children also multiplied thou as the stars of the heavens, and brought them into the land, concerning which thou hast promised to their fathers, that they should go in and possess it. He was telling us that we need to multiply wherever we are. We need to be fruitful and multiply. We need to be as peaceful as we possibly can be in the land of our captivity, in a place where we are held captives. Okay? That's the first point. We need to be fruitful. They was being fruitful in the land of Egypt. They were just doing what the Most High asked them to do in the land of Egypt. They were just doing what they was commanded to do. Now listen to this. This was prior to this was when Joseph was here. This was prior to the new Pharaoh. And it says, there arose. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. He did not necessarily didn't know about Joseph. He didn't know nothing truly about the children of Israel and their anointing. Even though the children of Israel were peaceful, they was not disturbing the people. The children of Israel was not doing anything wrong. But they were some very strong warriors. Okay? Then it says in verse 9, and he said unto his people, and the Pharaoh said unto the Egyptians, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Listen to that. He was looking at the children of Israel as a threat to the Egyptian way of life. He was looking at the children of Israel as a threat to the Egyptians. And from aspects of power and authority. That's the way he was looking at it. That was his viewpoint. Listen to it again. And he said unto his people, and Pharaoh said unto the Egyptians, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, and let us deal wisely with them. What the word wisely mean? Cunning, smart, in a deceitful way. It says, it means to be wise in mind or words or act, exceeding teach wisdom. It says be make self, or it basically means to be wise or deal. But it's in a negative sense, connotation, and not from a positive. He said, let us be cunning and crafty as the serpent. You remember the serpent in Genesis chapter 3, verse 1? It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the word subtle means smart. It says, now the serpent was more subtle or cunning than any beast of the field, which Yahuwah Adonai had made. And he said unto the woman, yea, has Adonai said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? So, what they're talking about is, they was being wise in an evil manner. They was being wise in an evil manner because the simple fact is, the children of Israel were just multiplying. The children of Israel was just living their life and being productive citizens. It's just like us here in America. The only thing that we've been trying to do is have an opportunity and equal rights. That's the only thing we've been trying to do. We've been trying to be productive citizens, serve our Adonai, and be productive citizens. That's all we've been trying to do in this world. But the Babylonian government has looked at us coming together as a unit, being able to be productive as positive. They're looking at it as a threat to their organization. They look at it as a threat to whatever they got going on in the world. That's the way the Babylonian government looks at our progression. It is more of a threat than a benefit. It is more of a threat than a benefit. And because if it's more of a threat than a benefit, the Babylonian government look at what we're doing from a fearful manner. So they had to develop a plot to be able to bring down the population, because, and I'm going to be honest with you, when I was reading this morning, as I was reading the story of Exodus, it's all about population control. It was all about population and control. They wanted to control the population to a way that they can keep it for their benefit. Just like you see today. Everything is about population control. Because it says in verse 6. Verse 9. It says in verse 9, and Pharaoh said unto his people, Behold, the people of children of Israel are more and mightier than we. The word more stands for the percentage of population, the amount of people that was in Egypt. Then it was also talking about their abilities. It's talking about they are more in numbers, then their abilities are more than is better than ours. So the Egyptians had to figure out what they was going to do to stop the growth of the population of the children of Israel. So they had to develop a plot or a plan to stop the growth for the children of Israel. They had to stop the growth for the children of Israel. This was in Egypt. They had to develop a scheme or a plot or a plan to stop the growth. That's what it says in verse 10. It says, Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they're falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies. They wasn't looking at the children of Israel as a friend. They was looking at them as enemies. They wasn't just like when the United States fought against the Japanese. The United States, they rounded up all the Japanese. When the United States fought against Japan, they rounded up all the Japanese people that was in the United States and put them in concentration camps. Because they didn't look at the Japanese people that's living in the United States as friends. They was looking at them as enemies. So what they did was they used that. They used them and put them in concentration camps until the war was over. That's what this is saying. Because they did not want the Japanese people to come in and invade the United States with the citizens that they have here and defeat the United States from within. Then it says, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. That's what they was more afraid of. When they put the Japanese in concentration camps, they was more afraid of the Japanese fighting in the United States, called a civil war. And so get them up out of the land. And also the Egyptians did not want the children of Israel to leave Egypt. They didn't want them to leave Egypt. They wanted them to continue to stay in Egypt and build up Egypt. But their method and their ways of doing things was so diabolical. It was so evil. It was so... They did it from a self-righteous point of view, as if they were the bomb diggity of the bomb diggity. Let us go to Psalms 105. And 25. Psalm 105 and 25. It reads, "And he turned their hearts to hate his people, to deal suddenly with his servants. He sent Moses his servant and Aaron whom he had chosen." Listen to that. Let me go. I can go back to verse 20. Let me just go back to verse 20. "The king sent and loosed him, even the rulers of the people, and let him go free. And he made him lord of his house," talking about Joseph, "and the ruler of all his substance," we're talking about Joseph, "and to bind his prince at his pleasures, and teach his senators wisdom." Joseph was the second man in charge in Egypt. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham, and increased his people greatly, and made them stronger than their enemies. Listen to that. "And Adonai increased his people greatly, and made them stronger than their enemies. And he turned their hearts to hate his people." He turned the Egyptians to hate his people, to deal suddenly with his servants. He sent Moses his servant and Aaron, whom he had chosen. They shew his signs among them, and wonders in the land of Egypt. So what it was saying is, the Most High, they had one plan. The Egyptians had one plan to keep the children of Israel in bondage, so that they can continue to build up Egypt, because they had more people and they had more abilities. But the Most High was doing it for something totally different. He was doing it to show his power on the earth, and he was doing it so that he can free his people from the bondage of what was going on in the land. Okay? Then it says, Isaiah chapter 56. Because the first point is, he told us to be fruitful and multiply, but because we became so fruitful and multiplied, it feared the other nations. It feared the Egyptians. Okay? Isaiah chapter 56 and 11. I'm going to go to 10. So, it feared them because they thought that we was going to go against them if somebody else invaded Egypt. If somebody invaded Egypt, the Hittites invaded Egypt, they was afraid that the Hebrews would go with the Hittites and not the Egyptians. Okay? So that's why they started to conjure up this plan to enslave the Hebrews. Then it says in Isaiah chapter 56 and 10, "His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs which can never have enough. And they are sheep that cannot understand. They all look to their own ways, every one for his gain from his quarter." That was their plan. They wanted to continue to gain whatever they wanted. They was gaining from the children of Israel being in slavery. They didn't understand that they was ignorant, dumb dogs doing things out of their own lust. But they was just, that's what they was doing it for. They wasn't doing it for a big objective. It's just like the United States. The United States have did so much wickedness to African American people, black people, or Hebrew people here. And it was all for their personal gain because how they looked at us or how they saw us as a people. So whatever they had to do to continue to keep us in that situation, they would do it. Okay, let us go to Acts chapter 7. Verses 19. Because once they saw us multiplying, they had to get a plan together to keep us in bondage to a certain degree. Then it says, the same dealt suddenly with our kindreds, and evil entreated our fathers. Listen to that. They dealt subtly, they mean crafty with evilness with our kinfolks, and entreated our fathers so that they caused out of their own children to the end might not live. See, a lot of the times, like I said in verse 57, Psalm 57, I like it. Psalm 57 and 6. I like it. They have prepared a net for my steps. My soul is bowed down. They have digged a pit before me into the midst whereof they are fallen themselves. Even Psalms 19 and 16, 19, 15, 16, it says, the heathen has sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they had hid is theirs on foot taken. Listen to that again. The heathens are sunk down in the pit that they made. In the net which they hid is their own foot taken. Yahuwah is known by the judgment which he execute. The wicked is snared in the works of his own hands. See, that's what they were so afraid of the children of Israel multiplying and being mighty. So what they did, they just started developing a plan to get rid of them. And not realizing that this verse here is so powerful. And I want us to understand something. Galatians 6 and 7. Be not deceived, Adonai is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. See, even though they was trying to develop a plan to destroy the children of Israel, the Most High turned around and destroyed them. But I want to read a little bit out of Jasher, chapter 66. I'm going to start at verse 4. Because the book of Jasher gives you more details on how the children of Israel got into bondage. Okay? Because then I'm going to stop in a little bit. This is when it says, but he did not engage with him, for the children of Esau prevented him. This is talking about Esau trying to be a friend of the Hittites. Esau's trying to be a part of the Hittites organization. But then they was going to get ready. Esau was getting ready to go down and fight the Egyptians. Okay? Let me go down to verse 5. So we can start off with the familiar name. It says, and the king of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh king of Egypt heard this thing, saying, Samlah king of Edom has resolved to fight the children of Shittim, which is Africans. Esau did not want to fight the Africans, and afterward he will come to fight against Egypt. So what it's saying is, Esau was getting ready to go beat up the Africans, And then after he beat up the Africans, the Egyptian Pharaoh is saying now, after he beat up the Africans, he's going to come fight against us. And then it says, and when the Egyptians heard this matter, they increased the labor upon the children of Israel, lest the Israelites should do unto them as they did unto them in their war with the children of Esau in the days of Hadad. Because what happened, when the children of Israel got into a fight with Hadad, or the Shittims, they destroyed the Shittims. That means that the children of Israel destroyed the Hittites, or the Africans. And the Egyptians was afraid that the children of Israel would do to the Egyptians like they did to the Africans. And the children of Israel destroyed the Africans, but the Egyptians didn't want them to destroy the Egyptians. The Egyptians didn't want the children of Israel to destroy the Egyptians. So that's why they was plotting and scheming against the children of Israel. Then it says in verse 7, so the Egyptians said unto the children of Israel, hasten, do your work, and finish your task. Strengthen the land, lest the children of Esau, your brothers, should come to fight against us. For on your account will they come against us. So what the Egyptians were saying, we don't want your brother Esau to come fight against the Egyptians for you Hebrews. So that's why we're telling you to build up these walls, to build up the city of Pittim. That's why That's why he was saying that. That's why they was forcing the children of Israel to do all this hard labor, is because they was afraid of the children of Esau to come in and fight the Egyptians for the children of Israel. But the children of Esau wasn't going to do that. And they also was afraid of the Hebrews because the Hebrews destroyed the Africans in a fight. So the Egyptians saw the abilities of the children of Israel. Then verse 8, it says, and the children of Israel did the work of the men of the Egypts, the men of Egypt, day by day, and the Egyptians afflicted the children of Israel in order to lessen them in the land, means let their population decrease. In order to lessen the population lessen them in the land, means they wanted the children of Israel to continue to decrease in population because they was afraid that the children of Israel will overtake the Egyptians. But as the Egyptians increased the labor upon the children of Israel, so did the children of Israel increase and multiply. And all the Egyptians was filled with the children of Israel. So the harder the labor came on the children of Israel, the more they produced children. Just like here in America. You cannot stop African American people from having children. That's one thing they were going to do. Okay, and then it says in verse 10, and in the 125th year of Israel going down into Egypt, all the Egyptians saw their counsel did not succeed against Israel, but that they increased and grew. And the land of the Egypt and the land of Goshen was filled with the children of Israel. So the elders of Egypt and his wise men came before the king and bowed down to him and sat before him. And all the elders of Egypt and the wise men thereof said unto the king, may the king live forever. Thou did counsel us the counsel against the children of Israel. We did unto them according to the word of the king. But in proportion to the increase of labor, so do they increase and grow in the land. And behold, the whole country is filled with them. And I want us to understand something. The more the children of Israel was increased in labor, they increased in population. Let's look at us African American people. The harder we work, the more children we have, the better we turn out to be. But our neighbors or our counterparts don't want it. That is why they're so angry. How can you get all these inventions to come from slaves or freedmen up under the oppression of the United States government? You look at all these inventions that was created. It was created during a time of oppression. All the inventions that we have created have always been up under oppression and hardships and afflictions. Then it says in verse 14, now therefore our Lord and King, the eyes of all Egypt are upon thee, to give them advice with thy wisdom, by which they may prevail over Israel to destroy them or to diminish them from the land. And the king answered them, saying, give you counsel in this matter, that we may know what to do unto them. Because they did not know what to do to the children of Israel, even in the midst of them going through all the hardships, all the afflictions, all the punishment. The children of Israel were still prospering. They were still making it. They were still doing their thing. No matter what the Egyptians tried to do, they were still doing their thing. They were still living a life. It's just like I heard one guy say, you cannot stop them black people. They just like roaches. They're going to always grow. I didn't like to comment, but it just, you cannot stop us in the midst of going through hardships. You cannot stop us in the midst of going through tribulation. It's just like we made for this type of stuff. We're built for hardship. We're built for struggle. We're built to overcome. We're built to be overcomers. But we're not looking at it from that viewpoint, because the simple fact that we're just making it. We adapt to the environment. We adapt to everybody's agenda. We adapt to everybody's plot or plat. We adapt to it and continue to move and strive. Every time they make out a new plan or a new law, we adjust to it and continue to move. Every time they do this, we turn around and do that. Every time they say you need to pull yourself up by the bootstrap, we're going to get 2 or 3 jobs and we'll do whatever we got to do. They say we got to get your credit straight, we'll go try to get our credit straight. You need to have this, we'll try to go do that. It's like ain't nothing stopping us from doing whatever we try to do. Whatever plat they try to make, whatever type of scheme they try to do to us, it never prevails against us. Even when they put the crack cocaine in our community, we still thrive. We still made it. Even though some victims in the situation, we still made it. But now look at the fentanyl. What you call it here? Yeah, the fentanyl. I think it's fentanyl. Epidemic now. It's horrible. It is not killing our people like it's killing everybody else. Because we're adjusting every time. We're learning to stop eating all that other food out there. We're starting to try to grow ourselves. Because we are adjusting to every plat or plan or scheme that they develop. They say we don't grow no food. Okay, we go grow food. Or we don't have weapons. I see people at that gun show. I see people at the guns and they're training. They're doing everything that they can do to adapt to the environment. That's what the children of Israel do. They are overcomers. No matter what happens to them, they overcome. We overcome. No matter what people try to do to us, we're always overcoming situations. Yes. And they're doing it because of fear. They know our abilities. Let me read you some again. They know our abilities. It says in verse 9, and he said unto his people, and Pharaoh said unto the Egyptians, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. They understand who we are as a people. The Egyptians understood who the Hebrews was. They understood the power that they have. Everything that was going on, the Egyptians knew about it. And in the Hebrews, they adapted to the program. Then it says in verse 15, an officer, one of the king counselor, whose name was Job, from Mesopotamia in the land of Ur, answered the king, saying, if it please the king, let him hear the counsel of his servants. And the king said unto him, speak. And Job spake before the king and the prince and before all the elders of Egypt, saying, behold, the counsel of the king, which he advised formerly respecting the labor of the children of Israel, is very good. He said they're hard-working people, and you must not remove them from that labor forever. But this is advice, counsel, by which you must lessen them. If it seem good to the king to afflict them, behold, we have feared war for a long time. We say when Israel become fruitful in the land, they will drive us out. They will drive us from the land if a war should take place. And then it says, this is when they started to present killing the firstborn, because they have been so afraid of African American people. It says, if it please the king, let a royal decree go forth, and let it be written in the laws of Egypt, which shall not be revoked, that every male child born to the Israelites, his blood shall be spilled upon the ground. They wanted to kill all the firstborns in Israel. They wanted to kill all the firstborns in Israel and Egypt, because the simple fact is they saw the Israelites as a threat. Now, it says balance now, insight, diversity and inclusion story, analyst. It says gun violence in America, a threat to the POC. POC means people of color. People of color have been continuously victim of gun violence in the United States. This article breaks down the issues of gun violence and is disproportionately impacted on these communities, while also highlighting efforts to address the issues. See, the United States understand, and they continue to make plots against us because they know who we are. So that's why they continue to allow all these guns in the community. That's why they continue to put out a eugenics program. The eugenics came out with Margaret Sanger. Eugenics is the practice or advocacy of improving the human species by selectively mating people with specific desirable genetic traits. It aims to reduce human suffering by bleeding out disease, disabilities, and so-called undesirable characteristics from the human population. Next paragraph. Historically, eugenics encouraged people of color. Historically, eugenics encouraged people of so-called healthy, superior stock to reproduce, and discourage reproduction of the physical and mental challenges or anyone who fell outside the social norm. What it was basically was saying, when Margaret Sanger became a eugenics and the Parenthood program, they wanted to eliminate blacks from being on the earth. Parenthood program brought out birth control. Listen to that in itself. Birth control. Control the birthing or control the population on the earth. Picking who should and who should not have babies. Okay? It says, eugenics was popular in America during much of the first half of the 20th century, yet it earned its negative association mainly from Adolf Hitler and his obsessive attempt to create an advanced Aryan race. Modern eugenics, more often called human genetics engineering, has come a long way. Understanding the quote. Let me give you one quote from Margaret Sanger. Okay. It says, we do not want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. They wanted to exterminate the Negro population by going through birth control. So what does the Egyptians wanted to do in the book, in Jasher? They wanted to start killing off the male-born child. And number 16 on this one in this Margaret Sanger traditional family priority, it says, these two words, birth control, sums up our philosophy. It means the release and cultivation of the better element in our society, and the gradual suppression, elimination, and eventual extensions of defect stocks. Those human weeds which threatens the blooming of the finest flower of American civilization. And they consider us to be weeds. Then it says in verse 22, now understanding that Pharaoh wanted to kill the firstborn, eugenics, gun violence, and all this other stuff is trying to do the same thing. Then it says, and by your doing this, when all the male children of Israel should have died, the evil of their wars will cease. Let the kings do so, and send for all the Hebrew midwives, and order them in this manner to execute it. So the thing pleased the king and the prince, and the king did according to the works of Job. And the king sent the Hebrew midwives. Okay. But what I'm trying to say in conclusion, everything that Pharaoh tried to do to us was done to him. When he tried to destroy our nation, it destroyed his nation. And I want you to understand something. I'm finna close this. What America tried to do to the African American community is now has been done to America. And why I say that? What's getting ready to happen in the next couple of months will be the cause and the effects of the destruction of America, because what America has been doing to the children of Israel. No matter how hard we just try to blend in with society and just live and do what Jeremiah 29, 4-7 say, we have always been afflicted. They understood that we are more and mightier than them. But they didn't look at us as a neighbor. They looked at us as an enemy. They looked at us more as a threat to them, more so than a neighbor to them. They never looked at us as a neighbor. They looked at us as an enemy. The same way the Egyptians looked at the Hebrews. Okay, and it says, what master? It says, master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Yahushua said unto him, thou shalt love Yahuwah thy Adonai with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. See, the Egyptians didn't look at the children of Israel as neighbors, and the Americans didn't look at us as neighbors. So everything that the children of Israel went on in Egypt, we went on here in America. They tried to kill our firstborns. They destroyed our families. They tried to do the same thing that the Egyptians did to us. So what you see going on up in New York, it's going to happen here. This is the beginning. The thing I feared the most is happening. Some Europeans are burning the Bibles now because the simple fact is they found out that everybody in the Bible is black. They found out that everybody in the Bible is black. So as we come to you today, we give you all the honor and the glory. We thank you for everything you have done and what you continue to do. We just thank you for being you. We just thank you for giving us wisdom and knowledge and understanding. We thank you for letting us hear the way you want us to hear, see the way you want us to see, and speak the way you want us to speak. We thank you for allowing us to be fruitful and multiply, regardless of what the plan the enemy has for us. We know that he's going to step into that trap himself. We see that everything that he has done, he's been stepping into his own traps.
Yep.
When they try to put crack into our communities, you brought fentanyl into the community. When they try to give our families Section 8 and food stamps, you brought the trailer park. So, Father, we see everything that they have tried to do, you have reversed it on them. Because they say the thing that I feared the most is happening now. What they feared the most is America being destroyed from being the most powerful nation in the world. And now the foundation is cracking. But Father, we ask that you continue to let the children of Israel and those Gentiles who attach themselves to Israel be saved. We ask that you take the fish scales off our eyes so that we can see. And so that we can continue to do your laws, statutes, and commandments. In Yahuwah's name we pray. So let it be. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Y'all have a blessed one, okay?